प्रणाम man.
हाँ नमस्कार। आइए। Okay, we'll start. We'll start with our prayers. Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya aviravirmayedhi. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhe. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we study with energy and vigor, may our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment, not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the indivisible, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, beyond the reach of words and thought, and the substratum of all, for the attainment of my cherished desire. So we take refuge as at the substratum of all, and who is the basis of our self, for for the attainment of our goal. And what is that kind of thing? That it is absolute existence, consciousness, and absolute bliss. So before we start, we'll read from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. But before that, here.
Did I start, Swami?
Just a minute. Okay, start.
I'm reading from Steps to Realization, The great truths about atoms and the finer elements and the fine perceptions of men were discovered ages ago by men who never saw a telescope or a microscope or a laboratory. How did they know all these things? It was through the heart. They purified the heart. It is open to us to do the same today. It is the culture of the heart, really, and not that of the intellect that will lessen the misery of the world.
Okay, just a minute. This requires explanation. What, how we know something? Say, suppose if I want to know something, this is the book, and I see, and then I read. So one kind of knowledge is by senses. So scientists, what they do, they want to explore this. So this is also a kind of exploration. But this is to think that this world is real and matter is real. And then they explore. But gradually what is happening? Number one, it requires instruments, very costly instruments, like billions of dollars. CERN, maybe it took few billions of dollars to construct it and to maintain it. Then only there they've discovered goddamn particle. So anyway, what is the point? That whatever is physical, to explore that we need physical knowledge. But same thing we can understand through another perspective. What is that? Like I am seeing, the process of seeing, process of hearing, it is not outside. So this way our rishis discovered what is the process, mental process, how we see, how we hear, how we touch and experience. All these are not physical. First, some impulses may come to our eyes or ears or tactile instruments, but ultimately it is translated and it goes to our mind. So whatever we perceive through our minds. It is not external. Only thing, this instrument, mind, should be pure enough. I give example. Say suppose, nowadays our scientists, they send rockets to outside, to any planet or to moon. How they do? They have instrument, they boost it, and then it is discarded. So similarly, we have instrument that's called mind. But when mind is purified, the nature of mind goes away. Then it is pure self that remains. Another example we can give. Say pole vault. Say certain height. So one has to cross. So they take a pole and then with the help of pole they jump it and go other side. But before going, they leave the pole behind. Then only they can go that height. So what is the point? Point is, to understand something, we need some instrument. Scientists will rely on external instrument. So this is one kind of exploration. But here we are taking a different kind of instrument which is, everybody has, which is available to everybody. You have eyes, and you have that way how to perceive it. So this is a different kind of seeing. It is not ordinary seeing. So this is the way they discovered. That is why for them there was no need of external instrument, no microscope, no telescope, not required. Even say if you go to moon or anywhere, you cannot know everything well. Even whatever we see, even what is atom, it is you know, they are going subtler and subtler and subtler. They are not finding what is there. Now, science is becoming a philosophy. And secondly, gradually another thing is coming, observer factor. How nature changes because of the observer. That is why this process is better. What Swamiji has said, that they need not have telescope or microscope of laboratory, but pure mind can grasp subtle things which ordinary mind cannot understand. Say beauty. When you see a beautiful mountain, only those who are evolved enough, they will see. Not a potato seller, or maybe not a laborer may not see, because he's more engrossed in earning his bread. So, as the mind is purified, they can understand anything and everything in a better way. Because through in and through mind, we perceive this whole world. I am seeing you. And if my mind is pure, I will see divinity in you. Even I can understand, like mothers, they love their children. So they know what their children is thinking. Even thought process they understand. So the main thing is to use our mental instrument. That is more important. Yes.
Intellect has been cultured with the result that hundreds of sciences have been discovered, and their effect has been that the few have been made slaves of the many. And that is all the good that has been done. Artificial wants have been created, and every poor man, whether he has money or not, desires to have those wants satisfied. And when he cannot, he struggles and dies in the struggle. This is the result.
Yeah, see, like nowadays what is happening, this iPhone, it happened in China. People sold their kidney to have iPhone because they cannot afford. So how to do it? How to get it? And secondly, it is very attractive outside. And most of the people, they hardly understand that that is not. See, nowadays what is happening? Now it is a menace. The iPhone, or even smartphone, even artificial intelligence. Nowadays, this Facebook, something new has come. Um that everything becomes topsy turvy. So gradually, it will become a menace. Whereas, meta, yes, meta. So gradually, this as mind goes outside, it loses its own anchoring. That is why we need to anchor ourselves in our own real self. Mind should be purified and not to be attracted uh, by the external attractions. Yes.
Through the intellect is not the way to solve the problem of misery, but through the heart. If all this vast amount of effort had been spent in making men purer, gentler, more forbearing, this world would have a thousandfold more happiness than it has today. Always cultivate the heart. Through the heart, the Lord speaks, and through the intellect, you yourself speak.
Yeah. And what is happening? Even human beings are given, or they discovered um, huge or instruments of mass distraction. So it can distract the whole world few times. Now human being has that power. But that's why intellect is not that important. Important is heart, because you can feel the pain of others, and also through heart you can discover real truth, not through intellect. Yes.
You remember in the Old Testament where Moses was told, "Take off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground." We must always approach the study of religion with that reverent attitude. He who comes with a pure heart and a reverent attitude, his heart will be opened. The doors will open for him, and he will see the truth. If you come with intellect only, you can have a little intellectual gymnastics, intellectual theories, but not truth. Truth has such a face that anyone who sees that face becomes convinced. The sun does not require any torch to show it. The sun is self-effulgent. If truth requires evidence, what will evidence that evidence? If something is necessary as witness for truth, where is the witness for that witness? We must approach religion with reverence and with love, and our heart will stand up and say, "This is truth, and this is untruth."
Yeah. So nowadays, what is happening because of intellectual gymnastics, whatever theory is coming, and later that theory is discarded. Even this Big Bang theory. Now, the thoughts are being cultivated to show that Big Bang theory is a misnomer, because they found some galaxies. The light came from some galaxies which are older than the Big Bang. That means say 13 billion of years or something like that. So intellect will find another piece of intellect which will counter it. Whereas discovering from within, that is supreme. It is not dependent on anything else. Yes.
The field of religion is beyond our senses, beyond even our consciousness. We cannot sense God. Nobody has seen God with his eyes, or ever will see. Nobody has God in his consciousness. I am not conscious of God, nor you, nor anybody. Where is God? Where is the field of religion? It is beyond the senses, beyond consciousness. Consciousness is only one of the many planes in which we work. You will have to transcend the field of consciousness to go beyond the senses. Approach nearer and nearer to your own center. And as you do that, you will approach nearer and nearer to God.
So Swamiji now clarified that beyond does not mean that somewhere beyond outside. No, within. Beyond our intellect means what we understand, this understanding. What is based on this understanding? We have to go there. Say, I'm speaking. Before my speech, it is silence. After my speech, it is silence. And silence cannot be destroyed. Even while I am speaking, silence is very much there. On silence, my speech is depending. Similarly, all our thoughts, our emotions, everything that we have, there is some common basis that we have to discover. That is that is going beyond. Beyond means this going within, delving within. That is the point. Yes.
What is the proof of God? Direct perception. Pratyaksha. The proof of this wall is that I perceive it. God has been perceived that way by thousands before, and will be perceived by all who want to perceive him. But this perception is no sense perception at all. It is supersensuous, superconscious, and all this training is needed to take us beyond the senses. By means of all sorts of past work and bondages, we are being dragged downwards. These preparations will make us pure and light. Bondages will fall off by themselves, and we shall be buoyed up beyond this plane of sense perception to which we are tied down, and then we shall see and hear and feel things which men in the three ordinary states, viz., waking, dream, and sleep, neither feel, nor see, nor hear. Then we shall speak a strange language, as it were, and the world will not understand us, because it does not know anything but the senses. True religion is entirely transcendental.
So yeah,
Every
one thing is here that you know we are seeing God all the time. We are on based on God. We are anchored on God. In and through God we are speaking. Even in and through God we can have our perceptions. If there is no God, then we cannot have anything. So this is the most uh, the the basis of all existence. It is not that something outside on whom we are anchored, on whom even our perception is possible, on whom all our things are possible. So God is not somewhere sitting on seventh heaven, but He is within us. He is conscious. He is the witness. Even He is beyond consciousness, the basis of consciousness. Consciousness is also a state. But what is that on which that state, a state of consciousness reside? That we are. Yes. That's why it is called superconscious. Yes.
every being that is in the universe has the potentiality of transcending the senses. Even the little worm will one day transcend the senses and reach God. No life will be a failure. There is no such thing as failure in the universe. 100 times man will hurt himself. 1,000 times he will tumble. But in the end, he will realize that he is God. We know there is no progress in a straight line. Every soul moves, as it were, in a circle, and will have to complete it. And no soul can go so low, but there will come a time when it will have to go upwards. No one will be lost. We are all projected from one common center, which is God. The highest as well as the lowest life God ever projected will come back to the Father of all lives, from whom all beings are projected, in whom all live, and unto whom they all return. That is God.
Yeah. So here Swamiji says that yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti. So from whom the whole creation has sprung and on whom it is residing, on whom it will be absorbed. So what is that? On whom means that means somewhere else? No. That is our real self. It is not external. It is and the beauty of this is the Vedanta says all are in God. Whereas other religion may say that somebody is sinner. But here what is being said? That each one, not without any fail, even animal, actually they all reside in God. That is why the goal of life is to discover this truth. Then only life is fulfilled. Otherwise, life is momentary and it is futile. So let us go back to our our text. Now, from here we start. There is a shloka. Trishu dhamasu yad bhoktam, bhogyam bhokta bhogascha yad bhave. So three things. One is whatever is bhogya, say like food, we enjoy. Food is being enjoyed. Bhogyam. Bhokta, a person who is enjoying. And the process of enjoyment. I am the witness of all these three. I am neither the things to enjoy nor the enjoyer and nor the enjoyment. So what is that? Even say you are hearing. When you are hearing, you are witnessing your hearing. Try to find this. You are witnessing your hearing. I am speaking. I am witnessing my speaking. Why? Because if I am not finding proper word, I'm trying to find the proper word. Now you may say that you are speaking. Actually, I am thinking that I am speaking, but actually the speaking is happening, and I am witness of that. So this we are to cultivate. So here he says, I am the witness, the pure consciousness, the ever blessed, different from what constitutes constitutes the enjoyer, enjoyment, and the object of enjoyment, like food, process of eating, and the person who is eating. We are in fact witness of all these three. Rather, we are beyond that. Even the witness also is a product of that basis. So, this is that uh, the discussion was that we have already done. Uh, so, one is individual. Say we are individual. We don't need any instrument to see this. We are individual. And collectively, like it is a forest, one singular tree, and when we say forest, it is many trees. Similarly, in human society, one individual person and collective, say many people. So, what is common here? The common is that witness. That witness of me is the same witness for you also. In Bhagavad Gita it says that in all fields I am the knower of field. I am the knower of field in all fields. So that this is that turiyam. Turiyam means fourth. Let us go back to our example. Speech. Before my speech, it is silence. After my speech, it is silence. During my speech also, it is silence. That silence is in you, in everything, everybody. So this is called turiya. Turiya means fourth. It is not a name is given. The name fourth, that means only indication. So what is that? Idameva turiyam. Shuddha chaitanyam ajnanadi tat upahita chaitanyabhyam. So another thing to understand, one is upahita chaitanya and anupahita chaitanya. Upahita means like associated with, the space associated with this, and something which is not associated. Say the light is falling on this, so it is upahita. But something like space, it is not associated with anything. So this is it's called upahita chaitanya and anupahita chaitanya. So shuddha chaitanyam, pure consciousness, ajnanadi. So agyan means not knowing correctly. When say I do not know something, so what is that? I know that I do not know. I know something, but actually I do not know. I know that I do not know. That also knowledge is upahita, associated with. But one portion will be without any attachment, without any association. So it is like this. The example is given. When we say iron piece is hot and it burnt my, say, hands. So what is happening? Actually, who is burning? It is the heat that is burning, not the iron piece. So when the heat is associated with the iron piece, that heat is burning. But we, by mistake, we say, no, 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 the iron piece has burnt me. So, taptayah pindavat viviktam san महावाक्यस्य वाच्यम विविक्तम सत संलक्ष्यम इति उच्यते. Now महावाक्य, what is महावाक्य? tat tvam asi, you are that, thou art that, thou art that supreme being. So here also we'll have to remove tam, we have to purify tam padartha and tat padartha. Means you, what is you? Not this body mind complex. Like, we meet after certain, say 20 years after, we meet a friend. That time he was a child. And say, oh, you are the same David. Or you are the same Barbara. So what we do? We deduct that young body and mind, this that time also immature mind. But now the person has got maturity and also he has grown old. So what we do? We deduct both the sides and we find the same person. So similarly, we are to purify tat padartha, that, and we are to purify this. This means the individual self. That means we have to deduct whatever is not necessary, not real, from this and that. So there it is all unified. So let me read. The pure consciousness which is known as the fourth, when not discriminated like a red hot iron ball from ignorance and the consciousness. So ignorance, ajnana, ignorance and consciousness. When it is not separated, then we think that, oh, I am this body mind. But we are not body mind. With which it is associated, becomes the direct meaning of the great Vedic dictum, and when discriminated, it gives us the implied meaning. That means when it is, we can separate iron and heat. Similarly, when we can separate this body-mind complex and the real me, then we can find the unity of individual and also universal. So anyway, we go forward. Now it has two powers. Asya ajnanasya avarana vikshepa namakam asti shaktidayam. It has two powers. One is it covers. See how it covers. We study again and again, but we again forget. So it has the Maya, the ignorance, has got a covering power. It covers the truth. And then it projects in a different way, which is not there. Atasmin tad buddhi. Whatever is not, it shows like that. Example, like when you are driving, you can see mirage at distance when it is hot summer. So though you know that on the road there is no water, but you see it. Similarly, when it is not discriminated, we see it. So it is covering the truth, the road, and projecting as if there is water. I saw the video the other day. A person was afraid of driving, but other people were going and then crossing. Then he could understand, oh, that's only a mirage. So, avarana, covering power, and power of projection. So two powers are there. Now let us go forward. Avarana shakti tavat alpopi megho anek yojanaya tamaditya mandalam avalokaitre नयनपथम पिधायकतया यथा आच्छादयति इव तथा अज्ञानम परिच्छिन्नम अप्यात्मानं aparichinnam asamsarinam. So, like Sanskrit, it may be difficult for you. So, let me read the meaning. Just as a small patch of cloud, by obstructing the vision of the observer, like small patch of cloud, it obstructs. See, like this. Even this can obstruct my vision. So, though it is a small, like sun is huge, 13 million times or something like that. Some 13 million times than our earth. But if there is a little of cloud, we cannot see sun. Similarly, just as a small patch of cloud, by obstructing the vision of the observer, conceals, as it were, the solar disk extending over many miles, millions of miles. Similarly, ignorance, though limited by nature, yet obstructing the intellect of the observer. So, what happens because of ignorance? We cannot see the things correctly because our intellect is obstructed. Conceals, as it were, the self which is unlimited. Self alone is real, it pervades everything, but looks like it is very small. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan, it is subtler than subtlest, and it is greater than the greatest. But what we think, we don't find self. This is the biggest, that's why it is called Brahman. Not subject to transmigration, but it looks like it transmigrates. So such a power is this power of concealment. It is thus said, now, ghanachanna drishti ghanachanna arkam yatha manyate. As the sun appears covered by a cloud and be dimmed to a very ignorant person whose vision is obstructed by the cloud, so also that which to the unenlightened appears to be in bondage is my real nature. So this is from Hastamalakam. Hastamalakam, a disciple of Shankaracharya. So he, right from his childhood, did not speak, and his parents were very worried. So he said, "We don't know what has happened." When Shankaracharya was traveling, so they met Shankaracharya and said, "This boy does not speak. Please do some um, charm or something so that he speaks." But Shankaracharya, when he saw, immediately he could understand that this is a Purna Jnani, that he has full knowledge. So he asked, "Kastvam, Shisho, who are you? My boy, who are you? Kasya kutosti, kutosi ganta? Where are you going? Kim namate tvam kuta agatosi? And what is your name and from where have you come?" So then he tells all this. There are 14 shlokas. So he answers in 13 shlokas. Naham manushya, I am not man. Nachadeva yaksho, I am neither deities or demigods. Na brahmana kshatriya vaishya sudra, I am not Brahmin or kshatriya, that means warrior class, or business class, or shudra, service class. Na brahmachari, na grihi, na vanastho, I am neither brahmachari. So what he described, that I am not attached with anything this. Like we find Shankaracharya says in Nirvana Shatakam, Mano buddhyankar chittani nayaham, I am neither mind, not intellect, not mind stuff. Then what am I? Shivoham, Shivoham, I am Shiva. I am that undivided Shiva, the divine. So here what he says, Nija Bodha Rupaha. I am awareness, my own awareness itself. So this is how he introduces. So there he says this, Ghanachanna drishtir ghanachannam arkam yathamanyate nishprabham chati mudha. When it is covered by a little cloud, unenlightened people think that it is not there. The sun is not there. It has it has no light. Nishprabham. Tatha baddhavad bhati yog mudha drishte. Similarly, those who are small minded, they think that we do not know and we are bound. Sa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma. And that I am that supreme Atman who has all awareness, understanding, and who is the experiencer, who is the witness. So this way he introduces. So similarly, he says this is the power of covering. It covers. What covers? The real nature of us. The Supreme Brahman is covered as it were, though it cannot be covered. Sri Ramakrishna very nicely said, like Rama and Lakshmana and Sita, they were going to a forest. So while going, Sita is in between. Lakshmana cannot see Rama because of Sita is there. So Sita is like Maya. So because of Sita, Lakshmana cannot see Brahman, Param Brahman, that means Rama. So another thing what happens that we think it is real. When we see multiplicity and we see it is real. You know, sometimes people go to drama or say like cinema. When they are immature, they think it is real. And they weep, oh, what has happened? Even they commit suicide. But those who understand, oh, it is not real. That actor is still alive, but here he is dead. You know, the Doctor Who got dissolved. So actually I saw that movie, and the person, a boy was sitting near. Oh, he started lamenting because he disappeared. So, um, but even if it is well acted, even wise people are also fooled. You know, it happened that Vidyasagar, a great scholar, whom Sri Ramakrishna met. So he went to see a drama, and in that drama, the person who was extracting tax from farmers, he played so well that Vidyasagar took his chappal and threw it. So the actor came with that shoe. They said that this is my trophy. Today what I received it. Because he also was, engrossed with so much, and he could not see the atrocities that a person was like doing that on that person. So sometimes this happens. Even the Sri Ramakrishna's, I think, father. So when somebody played the part of Kaikeyi, so he said Pamari. Pamari means like you wretch, you wretched woman. So anyway, what is the point? Point is, covering power is so great that even great scholars are also deluded many times. Many times means all the time. So this power is very strong. But this power is, in course of time you can see like you see um, mirage. But when you know that it is not real, then you are not affected by it. When you know the drama is not real, then maybe they are doing very well, they are playing very well, but you are not affected. Cinema, you know that it is not real. So, though it is fire, you don't go for water and to douse the fire. You don't go that because you know that it is all false. Though you see it, what is the point? Point is, even if this covering power is there, it will not affect so much if you know that it is not real. We may see it, but it will not affect so much. Now we go to the next. Anaya आवृत्तस्य आत्मनः कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व सुखित्व दुखित्व आदि संसार संभावनापि भवति यथा स्व अज्ञानेन आवृतायाम रज्ज्वाम सर्पत्व संभावना. Now, after covering, then it is come the projection, power of projection. The self covered by this, the concealing power of ignorance. See, when we are not alert, we think we are bodies. And we suffer from bodily ailment. And we are minds. We suffer from, somebody insulted me. So we suffer. Oh, see, he should not have said this. It is very bad of him. Why he should tell me. So all this, after covering, then comes projection. So what is here? Like a rope is covered and a snake is projected. And we are afraid of that snake. So this is the power of projection. Power of projection. Anaya avrittasya atmana. The self covered by this concealing power of ignorance may become subject to samsara, relative existence. That's why we suffer. Characterized by one's feeling as agent. Agent means I am doer. See, I am speaking. If I think I am speaking, then I'll have to suffer. And the experiencing subject, the person who is experiencing, and happy, miserable, etc. So what do we experience? I am happy now, I am elated, I am dejected, or I am suffering, miserable. Just as a rope may become a snake due to the concealing power of one's own ignorance. So because of my ignorance, that it is a rope, we jump, we see a snake there, we jump about and we howl and shout and bring light and then see, oh, it is a rope. Then it will not affect us. Similarly, we see attractive sceneries, say mirage, and a deer runs about it to drink water, but it will not find. But a human being understands, oh, it is a mirage, so it will not affect him. So this is two power. One is covering power. It conceals, concealing power, and then power of projection. That means it projects something which is not there. So this whole world, see now, we can understand this through our mind. We don't need any instrument to understand this. So this is the power of logic that we use here. Now go to the next. Vikshepa shaktistu yatha rajju ajnanam swavritta rajjo swashaktya sarpadikam udbhavetyevam ajnanamapi swavrittatmani swashaktya akasha adi prapancham udbhaveti tadrisham samarthyam taduktam विक्षेप शक्तिर लिंगादि ब्रह्मांडांतम जगत सृजेत इति Vakya Sudha. So what it says, just as ignorance regarding a rope. These are stock example, but that's not only one. Because after seeing a rope as a snake, we may commit the same mistake again. That's why that example is taken. So here, just as ignorance regarding a rope, like I do not know it is a rope, so this is called ignorance, and that covers the ropeness and projects the snakeness in the on the same rope. By its inherent power, gives rise to the illusion of a snake, etc. In the rope covered by it, so also ignorance, by its own power, creates in the self covered by it such phenomena as akasha. So, now just imagine, we are here and we see akasha, space. We see so many people, so many sceneries. All these are projected on this ignorance, by this ignorance, on the self. It is projected by ignorance by the self. Now who projects this? That is why we have concept of God. God creates. God means again Maya Upahita Chaitanya. That means it's like magician. Magician has a power. What is that power? Magic. Magician has a power. That power is magic. Through magic, he deludes people. So similarly, what we do, we delude ourselves. Or we can say, okay, because God has created, so we see many. But actually, who is God? God is that who is associated with that truth, Supreme Brahman. But he is the projector. Like in the cinema hall, you can see a projection is coming from behind. And people are looking at it. And some are weeping, some are laughing. So this is when we see individually, we are bound. Say like individual that is being projected there, they are suffering there. Whereas collectively, it is only a play. Just as ignorance regarding a rope by its inherent power gives rise to illusion of a snake in the rope covered by it, so also ignorance by its own power creates in the self covered by it such phenomena as akasha. Akashat vayu, air, and from vayu comes fire, from fire energy, from energy comes water, from water comes earth, solid. So when it is grossified, it is solid, liquid, energy, gaseous, and then space. All these are projected from the self. And because of ignorance. Because of the ignorance, these are projected on the self. The power of projection creates all form, the subtle bodies to the cosmos. So everything, whatever we see, it is all projected on the self. It happens to you. You do the same thing. What happens? Say tonight you will go back and you go to sleep. Where this whole world will go? It will crumble to you. It will be absorbed by you. And in the process of your deep sleep, you will forget this whole world exists or not. Next morning, again you will project this. We all do the same thing every day. We absorb everything within us, and next day we project everything again. So this is Avarani Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. And when we project, then we are product of it. And we are something enjoying and something suffering in this world. So, we are covering our own self and projecting something which is the cause of our suffering. So, this is called Avarani and Vikshep. This is, it doesn't require any other instrument. We can understand this within. Every day we are absorbed, we absorb this whole world, and next day we project this whole world. Vikshepa Shaktir Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srijatiti. Okay, we go to the next. Shakti Dvaya Vat Ajnanopihitam Chaitanyam Swapradhanataya Nimittam Swa Upadhi Pradhanataya Upadanascha Bhavati. Now, this is very important. Now, there are two kinds of cause, two kinds, efficient cause and material cause. Say, like when a potter makes a pot, what he does? He takes some earth and kneads it and then makes a beautiful pitcher. So, material is converted to a pitcher, or so mud is converted into a pitcher by the knowledge of the potter. So, potter is efficient cause and the earth or the mud is material cause. Now, how this world is created? Where is this material? Where he brings from brings material from? So it is the same self projects when it is when consciousness is main. Pradhan. Pradhan means when consciousness predominates. That is efficient cause. And when upadhi means adjunct, is more, then it is called material. Example, I will give example. Consciousness associated with ignorance, possessed of these two powers, when considered from its own standpoint, is the efficient cause. So consciousness, when it is associated with ignorance and consciousness is main, then it is efficient cause. But when consciousness associated with ignorance, but ignorance is main, then it is material cause. Okay. Consciousness associated with ignorance, possessed of these two powers, when considered from its own standpoint, is the efficient cause, and when considered from the standpoint of upadhi means adjunct or limitation, is the material cause or the universe. Now, few things to be understood, but before that we will give example. Yatha luta tantu karyam, like in Mundaka Upanishad we have seen. Yathorna nabhi srijate grinhate cha, yatha prithibhyam oshadaya sambhavanti, yatha satah purushat keshalomani, tatha aksharat sambhavati iha vishwam. Like we have seen spider. So spider, what? It does not require any external material. It produces its own material. And also through his intellect, he weaves a net. Now, he brings out his material itself. Now, similarly, all the grains are grown on the earth. It comes out. as it were from earth. So naturally it comes. Yatha satah purushat ke Shilomani. It does not require any effort. How? As our nails and hair comes out, it does not require our effort. Okay, let me grow my nail or let me grow my hair. We don't require that. It comes automatically. So, in the Supreme Being, things happen like naturally. It is not that he requires to put his effort in it. So, same thing, same idea is given here. Tatha aksharat sambhavati iha vishwam. As the spider creates and withdraws its thread, as the herb grows on earth, as hairs come out spontaneously from a living person, so in this world does everything come out of the imperishable one. So Mundaka Upanishad. So what is the original here? Yatha luta tantu karyam prati swapradhanataya nimittam swa sharira pradhanataya upadanancha bhavati. Just as the spider, when considered from the standpoint of its own self, the spider, uses its own intellect. So that is efficient cause of the wave. And when looked upon from the standpoint of its body, that means upadhi, adjunct, is also the material cause of the wave. So this way the cause is given. Now what I was thinking to say, that in this world two kinds of things are there, like one is vivarta, one is parinama. Parinama means like milk becomes yogurt. So that is parinama. That means it converted. It cannot go back to milk. But when you see a snake on a rope, snake is not converted, it is seen on that on the surface. When you dream, next day you are the same person again. In dream you may have seen yourself as a student. Maybe 20 years back you were a student, but now there is no need of going for examination. But so this transformation is not real, it is apparent transformation. So according to Vedanta, this is vivarta. Advaita Vedanta, it is not real. It looks like it has changed. It is like mirage. In reality there is no water, but it looks like it's water. So like another we can say iron, magnet. Iron, when you charge it with magnet, then it has magnetic power. But if you heat it, then magnetism will go away. So this is for example of vivarta. So anyway, we have just now we have heard what is covering power. That means power of concealment and power of projection. And this whole world is projected on Brahman by covering its nature. What is its nature? Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Svabhava. It is pure, eternal, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha. It is awareness or intellect. Mukta, it is free. But it looks like it is bound. It is suffering from so many elements. So all this is happening because of covering power and then projecting power. So this is, we'll stop here. Any question? Yes. No, first you. Okay, no problem. When until your mind is pure, you see like this. Uh, just imagine. I gave you this example earlier, but again, I am speaking. Before my speech, it is silence. After my speech, silence. In between also it is silence. But your attention so much in my speech that you may fail that silence. So mind should be purified, then we can perceive all the time our real we can perceive our real nature all the time. Okay. You see silence here I am giving an example. Witness even this silence or and speaking etc happening when I am witnessing it. You are after asking question you are witnessing answer. When you ask question you are witnessed. So that witness is always there. So we have to identify this. We have to realize this witness. Who is this witness? And when you try to objectify, you cannot objectify this. When you are trying to find out, that means also you are witnessing that trial. So we have to find this. That's why refinement of mind is very important. Akshay?
Yes. Like, can enlightened person be deluded by Maya?
No. You see, like when if you know the magic, how it is done, like the people say, like the other day, a person made like two like this, and two balls. Can you see here? So put that two balls. So it's one ball here, and then what he did, he put again both, and pressed this. He lifted the ball within here, and released the other one. So this ball as if transferred here. The lady who was looking at him, oh, how did you do? So actually what he did, you know that trick now. You can show your friends. So when you know the trick, you are not deluded. Right?
Yeah.
Suppose a person is speaking lie. So the person knows that this is lie. Okay. You have seen cinema. And in cinema, say like Rajesh Khanna dies in, what is that, Anand. He dies with cancer. He suffers from cancer and dies there. But after that also Rajesh Khanna did something else. So when you know the truth, then you are not deluded. You may see it. Say like Swami Vivekananda was traveling in Gujarat, and that area was desert-like. So he was thirsty, and he saw a beautiful lake, and some trees were reflected on that lake. So he thought, let me go and drink water. But as he approached, it receded. Oh, then he said, oh, this is the mirage that I studied in my boyhood. So he remembered. So his delusion was gone. Next day again when he was walking, he saw them again. But now he knew that it's all mirage. So you may see it. So similarly, Brahmagyani, the knower of Brahman, they interact in this world. And Sri Ramakrishna, like I'll give example of Sri Ramakrishna. He asked Naren and Girish to argue about, say, Brahman and God, etc. So they were arguing that, Brahman is infinite, it cannot be incarnated in a human body, etc., etc. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, they are arguing, but I don't enjoy it. I see that God has become everything. God is everything. God, God alone is. So, when one sees that, even for for drama, he can enact that drama, but he knows that it is all not real. The reality is so strong in him that he is not deluded anymore. That's why I said that ghumere ghum padiyechi. That means I have made sleep to sleep. And joge jage jege achi. That means I am awake in my union with Lord. Okay. But apparently
And
they can behave like that, but actually they are not deluded. And it is for like a professor. He comes down to teach a small children. So he talks like them, behaves like them, but actually he is a professor. Like that. Okay. We'll share this.
Maharaj,
Yes,
Maharaj,
please. Yes, please.
really quick question. And David, if he's still on here, it's a question about the last part of the Swamiji reading, where it seemed that Swami Vivekananda was saying that um, that the heart is more important than the intellect. Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct? No, say it again.
That in the last part of the Swamiji reading that David Levinter did,
Huh.
it sounded like Swami Vivekananda said that the heart is more important than the intellect. Am I tracking correctly or
Correct.
not?
Yes, correct. Because intellect may delude, and it may produce counter counter delusion. But heart will speak, because you can feel through heart. You are closer to yourself through your heart than intellect. You know,
Really?
when uh, uh, when the pleaders they argue, it happened with one uh, barrister, that he was um, under the influence of intoxicant, or say maybe liquor, and he started arguing, and then judge could not tolerate any further. He said, my learned uh, Mr. Bose, you know what you are arguing, it will go against your client. Then started, he came to his senses and said, yes, my lord, I knew this is what my learned colleague may say. And then he started arguing one by one what he said earlier, and one by one he discarded those. So here, play of intellect. What you may raise by intellect, you can counter it. But heart speaks in real term.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Runa Maharaj, আমার একটা question আছে. I have a
Yes, yes,
question.
please. English, yes.
Okay, Maharaj, so when we are, when the consciousness is reflecting through intellect for us to see everything that is appearing or no?
Okay. It is not consciousness is being reflected. Everything
Or
is in consciousness. Everything
Yes.
is say like light. Everything is seen by light. Not light is being uh, mm, uh, uh, falling on something. It is not that consciousness is reflected. Sorry, consciousness, on consciousness everything is lighted. You are conscious of yourself. So you are hearing, you are trying to understand. So
So
you,
the consciousness, you said the consciousness covered by ignorance
ha, means when
is
we are not alert. When we are not alert, then as if it is covering, but it cannot cover. Like sun cannot be covered by a cloud, looks like covered, like that.
so for us to project on something, like they say it's a mirror image. So for us to see everything, project everything,
Yeah.
the consciousness is the light, but it's reflecting on what for us to see it.
See, consciousness, in and through consciousness, you are hearing, you are understanding. So, consciousness is primary. But because of ignorance, because of not alertness, that's why agyana.
Ignorance.
Agyana means not knowing properly. If we know properly, then there is no problem. Like
Mm.
if we know the nature of a mirage, we have no problem. But when we do not know, that is the problem. So, consciousness is like rope. On that rope, snake is appearing and disappearing. Road is the consciousness. On that, mirage is appearing and disappearing. Similarly, this idea that I am a body-mind complex is coming on my consciousness because of my ignorance. But when we know ourselves, then this delusion goes away.
So right now, as we are understanding all this, why it
Oh,
does not
because
stay with us?
that is why, uh, to get this realization, our mind should be pure. Purification of mind is very important. That is why nitya anitya vastu vivek, that means this power of discrimination, ihamutra phala bhog virag, and then no desire to enjoy anything in this world and hereafter. And then shamadamadi satsampatti and mumukshutva. All these are to be cultivated. Then one has to hear time and again, then meditate on it time and again, and in course of time nididhyasana. Then we have no problem. But until or unless our mind is purified,
Mm.
we'll come to the, after the class we'll forget.
Mm.
So that is why even if you forget, but this thing is real. See, like this. Every day your world is absorbed in you, and every day you project your world again the next day and suffer and enjoy. Say our near and dear one, say parents die, but when we sleep we forget. But again the next morning when we remember, we suffer. So when the mind is pure, then this delusion will not come again. Then we'll understand, oh, it's only a play. Like we understand it's only a cinema. Similarly, we'll understand, oh, this is only this on this stage of this world, this is happening. Even bodily ailment, mind, all the sufferings. Then what will happen? Yasmin sthitena dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Even great suffering will not touch you. Yasmin sthite na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. So that is why, as of now, what has happened? Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam. What is yoga? Yoga means deduction of or separation of suffering that has been added to us. So this is a peculiar definition. Dukkha sanyoga. Say we are not affected by any suffering, but then we invite suffering. Why? Because we are ignorant. But this suffering goes away. That is called yoga. Dukkha sanyoga viyoga. Yoga is uchyate. So anyway, we have to take a help of our mind. That's why japam. What is japam? To make our mind pure and ekagra, one pointed. And when that happens, then all suffering goes away. Okay. Om
Thank you, Maharaj.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Even this, this exercise also will remain. It cannot go. Okay. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Pranam Maharaj. Jai Ma.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Jai Ma Swami.
Jai Ma.
Pranam Maharaj.
Hari Om.